You guys have been in tour now, right? Or is this your first leg? You came from Europe?
We've come. Yeah, we started in Vienna. Did all of the I guess the past 2 weeks we've been across the UK, and then from London we flew down here for these two shows, Cape Town, Johannesburg, and then the tour for this album is over. So it's been two years of touring.
Resolution album.
These are the last two shows. Yeah.
Great. Paul Wagner, he filled in for Mark.
Yeah.
How was that for? Did he basically just like mirror Mark, or did he bring in his own little flavor?
He has filled in for Mark before, in 2010, I believe, when Mark had another family issue. And so we're all good friends with him. And initially he learned the songs basically straight by the album, almost exactly. And now that he's been with us a little more and less of an employee and more of a friend, he's loosening up and doing some different stuff. So it's cool to play with a different style player once in a while. It keeps the band fresh and very tight now as well.
Paul's still here for these gigs as well, right?
He is.
Okay, great. Because I heard he was not going to come. Mark's going to be back. I heard that somewhere.
Of course, we miss Mark, but with Paul coming in with the new energy and him kind of feeling like he has to be perfect, I really think the band is tighter than we've ever been.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you guys play on Click Track Live?
I do. Well, let's say about half of the show.
Yeah.
So on the songs that I would begin as a drummer, I will use a click. On any of the songs that the guitar players start, they don't wear ears and they don't like using clicks. So we're a real band then. Yeah.
My good friend Carl is standing right there. We talked about drumming, and he's a drummer as well. And he told me that an interesting thing about your style of drumming is that you will basically try to incorporate your roles with the guitar riffs. And there's not a lot of drummers who do that. When did you start doing that, and what does it come from?
Well, it comes from me playing guitar until I was 21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't play drums until I turned 21. So when I switched over, I wanted to play drums the way that kind of in the same kind of rhythmic patterns that I was playing guitar. And so when they would come in with a riff, Mark or Willie would come in with a riff, I would understand kind of what they were thinking and what they were doing, but I would also have a very guitar-based kind of idea, maybe almost compared to like kind of a melody or something, where I would try to syncopate what I was doing with what they were doing instead of just follow them. I tried to make it better by finding things that I knew they weren't thinking about rhythmic patterns inside of their, the riff that they thought of.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some drum questions. Is that all right?
Yeah.
you're
That's
the
what I
do. You've named people like Bonham, Stuart Copeland, and even Lars Ulrich are some of your favorite drummers. And can you add some of the new guys? Do you have any new favorite drummers on the list?
Wow, it's tough. I mean, I think by far the greatest metal drummer that I know and have been lucky enough to see play is Gene Hoglan. He's amazing, and like Gene, like myself, like a lot of guys that tend to stand out a little bit from the pack. Gene grew up taking funk drum lessons and incorporates that into what he does. And I never took any lessons, but I'm very open to listening to different music. Like you said, one of my main influences is Stuart Copeland, and I love like Billy Cobham, and when he was with Mahavishnu Orchestra, and just listening to different stuff and bringing that into metal instead of listening to every Exodus record and then playing the Exodus beat on your band's record. Nothing against Exodus, I love it. But if you're only listening to metal, it's very hard to branch out. So of course, Gene Hoglan, Thomas Hock from Meshuggah, I think has probably changed the landscape of every metal band from here forward. I mean, I think he's probably the most influential. The band is probably the most influential band in metal of the past 20 years probably.
For a metal band, if you guys like travel, I mean, do you guys actually listen to metal while traveling, or do you guys listen to different kind of music? I know you're into jazz and into more progressive stuff as well, and you're into instrumental stuff as well. So what do you guys actually plug into when you off the stage?
Well, I spend a lot of time at the gym. I try to do a lot of running and stay in shape and work off the hangover every day. So I still listen to a ton of metal.
Cool.
We were just on tour with Decapitated, which is my favorite. That's definitely one of my favorite bands. Love their stuff. Let's see, what was I was just on iTunes the other day downloading. There's and I don't really care what you want to call it, but there's a band called O Sleeper. I think they're like a Christian metal band. I don't care. It sounds good to me. What else am I listening to? What's heavy and good? The new Periphery, I just pre-ordered that. I got the new Iced Earth. Like I go pretty kind of in all different directions. If it's I do enjoy. I just got the new Amon Amarth. So yeah, I'm into it.
Awesome. You guys are ending the Resolution tour now with these 2 gigs. When I spoke to John, that was in December 2013, he said that you guys have got like a kind of a set structure on how you guys record, like every 3 years, and then you record every 3 years, and then you bring out and then you promote the album for 2 years, take 1 year off to write a new album. So this is the year, 2014. Are you guys, have any studio dates booked?
Well, the only reason that pattern exists is just because that's the way it's kind of naturally happened before. We didn't take a calendar and come up with this plan. But that is kind of the normal way that we've been doing things. So initially the idea was we would end probably towards the end of 2013 and take a few months off, do the holidays, family time, and then begin, say, March or April of 2014. But as you know, we were sidetracked a bit with the problem in Prague with Randy. And really because of that, and just because of the extensive touring that we've done on the record. And so when a band says, oh yeah, we toured for a year, a lot of bands can tour for the US for a year, but we've been going to Russia and China and Japan and Singapore and the Philippines and Israel and just crazy places that people don't go. So we've really been putting a lot of time into traveling, and I think we're a bit more worn down than we've been, and we're not we're not as young as we used to be. So with that and the emotional toll that we all kind of endured with the situation with Randy, I think it's probably going to be smart for us to take some downtime, and not that we don't want to be in the band. We love the band, and this is what we want to do. And I think all the things that have led up to this point are going to help us make probably the best album that we've ever made, because there's a lot of stuff that we have to say and get off our chests about a lot of things. But I think it's going to be important for us to be the best that we can be, to go home and just reconnect and be normal people and not be rock stars, because after 2 years you start to, it changes the way you think. Everywhere you go, people are smiling, happy to see you, and wanting to give you gifts and all this stuff. And it's like I want to go home and take care of my little girl and drive her to school and make lunches and just be a normal guy for a while and connect with that part of my life, so that when I go and make music with these guys, it's very special again.
It's family time first before any studio days booked.
I would think we don't have any studio booked now. I would think by summer we'll be getting together to write music, which may put the album into being released into early 2015. But still, the plan is to work this year. Yeah.
You guys have worked with Josh, producer, Josh Wilbur, and a couple of records. Explain to me the relationship between you guys.
Well, when we found Josh. He was the engineer on the Sacrament record. The producer Machine had hired him to help engineer the drums. And Josh and I struck up a great friendship because Josh plays the drums, and we would just have drum chat or whatever, and so we just became friends. On the next record, he put his name in the hat to be producer of the Wrath album, and so we interviewed a few people and decided to give it a shot. Everyone got along with him great. He's this young kid, totally sober, work ethic that's just insane. Worked with Andy Wallace for a really long time. Like, his credentials are ridiculous. And we were excited that he wanted to work with a metal band. He had just gotten a Grammy for working with a country artist, and we like the idea of working with people that aren't necessarily the metal producers, so that our records don't necessarily sound like everyone else's records. We're going to write stuff that is probably going to be a little different than normal, so let's also find somebody that can help us sound a little bit different than normal. So we like that about Josh. Normally what I've tried to do is every 2 albums is to change producers, so that we're not just getting comfortable and
So you worked on 2 albums now.
He's worked on 2 albums now, so now it's
is out.
Well, it's an argument, because I think creatively we will be pushed more by someone new coming in, but at the same time, with everything that's happened and how well Josh knows us and we know him now, I don't know if it's time to change the formula. I don't know. So we're debating this now as we go forward.
We're looking forward to that. Thanks for chatting to us. Absolutely. And enjoy your time in South Africa.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a blast so far.
Cheers, man. Oh, we've got a gift for you. We know that John Campbell talked about the Antwoord. So we bought you some Rolling Stone covers.
Cool. Okay.
Copies.
He will love it.
Give it to him.
Fantastic.
Show it to the camera. Cheers.